Dude, here's the weird thing about feelings is like no one fucking feels them. And I know that sounds kind of cliche. Oh, like everyone's just numbing out and everyone's distracted and everyone's, doom scrolling on TikTok and, getting drunk on the weekends, blah, 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 blah. But for real though, like, when was the last time you took at least 5 minutes to sit with yourself in complete silence and just honestly check in with yourself? When was the last time you did that for yourself, dude? See, this is what's crazy to me, right? Because I personally don't have kids, but I think about if I had a child clearly in distress, right? This kid is upset, crying, hysterically crying, maybe even, and just simply wants my attention. And I don't give it to them. I just doom scroll on my phone. Well, that's kind of how some of you may be treating yourself and your own emotions. See, because for me, before I got sober, I didn't even really realize I had all these emotions. I was just numbed out. And my brain was basically wired in such a way where if I got pissed off, immediately I would want to go use, get high or get drunk. And it was like this knee-jerk reaction. Do you guys know when you go to the doctor and the doctor has that like little hammer and they hit just below your knee and it makes your leg kind of flinch and kick out, right? A knee-jerk reaction. For me, before I got sober and learned about my emotions and how to feel them and how to, give space for them, all of my emotions were just very reactionary. And, something would trigger me and immediately I'm angry. And I wouldn't even be aware that I was angry, dude. This is the crazy part. Is like I wouldn't even be able to identify what feelings I was feeling. And I would then therefore just act based on how I was feeling without even knowing that I was feeling it, if that makes sense. And it's so strange, man. And I think like a lot of dudes go through this because, in our society, especially in American culture, I'm sure in other cultures as well, the man is supposed to be this strong dude who doesn't feel feelings. Okay. And I think that is the least masculine thing you can do because I believe a truly masculine man is going to honor the divine feminine within him, which we all have feminine and masculine energy, right? So if you have these feelings, dude, and this is the key. So this is what I truly think manhood is responsibly honoring your divine feminine in your feelings. Okay? Because what happens if we don't honor our feelings in our feminine side? Is we lash out, we act out. You see this on the far end of the spectrum is school shooters, right? Crazy shit. On one end of the spectrum, you see dudes that are abusive to their wives, to their kids even. You see guys that have crazy tempers that just lose it, right? And it's the most interesting thing to think about because if you're watching this and you're thinking like, yeah, I don't cry, crying is for pussies, right? But usually it's that same type of dude that says crying is for pussies and that he doesn't cry is the exact same type of dude that would lose his cool in traffic, right? Now I'm not saying this is right or wrong, and I'm not here to judge you and put you down, but I'm just saying, dude, if the only emotion you allow yourself to feel is anger and you can't compose yourself, okay? Again, this is what I mean is I believe a true manly man has the ability to honor his own emotions responsibly, right? So if I'm in traffic and some dude cuts me off, I may feel anger, but am I going to show anger in that immediate moment? Not necessarily, but here's the kicker. I will then later in the day give myself space to process emotions that I had earlier in the day. I'll give you guys another example. And I'm not saying you have to like become a crybaby or something. I'm saying give yourself space to actually process these emotions. This is what I found has been working for me. It's like, let's say I'm in an argument with my girlfriend Okay, we're having a back and forth, blah, blah, blah. She says something, it hurts my feelings. Whether it was intentional or not, usually it's not intentional, right? She's a sweetheart. Okay, it hurts my feelings. I recognize it in the moment. Now, in that moment, am I going to burst out to tears and start wailing like a baby? Of course not. But on the flip side, I'm not going to completely push it out of my brain and say, hey, no, that doesn't fucking matter. I don't need to look at that, right? Because if you're a parent, you don't do that to your child. You don't not be there for your own kids. So what I do is I find time. I will temporarily compartmentalize and I'll find time, whether it's at the end of the night when I'm alone in the bathroom, in the shower, and I'll find time to process and feel my emotions and check in with myself and see how I'm doing, dude. Because if I don't do shit like that, what ends up happening is all these emotions bubble up and they manifest, okay? They manifest into drug addiction, violent outbursts, pissed off for no reason, right? Being rude to people, being disconnected from God. Like, here's the whole other side of this that I want to talk about, guys, is like not only is feeling your emotions part of integrating what I believe to be feminine energy, which is completely okay, all right? Because what happens if you don't feel your emotions, dude, you literally end up crashing out. And this is how motherfuckers end up in jail. Now, here's what's really interesting, for me at least, is emotions are also a guide. And this is really curious for me as a dude who always used to just bite the bullet and fucking grind and work no matter how I felt. But every single time I'd end up burnt out. If you guys watch my last video, you'll see that, I got rid of my agency, got rid of the ecom brand. I also had a coaching program at one point. I've had tons of different projects and I always end up burnt out from these projects. Now with emotions, I believe the intuition is your compass, right? But what is the intuition? How does that shit work? Well, for me, I will get a feeling. Here it comes again, right? A feeling of which direction I should go. Okay. Now, if you're feeling lost and you're like, fuck, man, I wish I knew my life's purpose. I wish I knew which direction to go. Well, let me ask you this, dude. Are you feeling your other emotions? Because what I found, especially when I was out there drinking and drugging, is that if I wasn't allowing myself to feel the negative emotions, I wasn't allowing myself to feel sad, depressed, right? Because I would just get drunk or high. I was therefore also denying myself the ability to feel joy, happiness, gratitude, compassion, right? These higher states of being, these higher frequencies, if you want to call it that. And conversely, maybe that's not the right word. Also, that's what I meant to say. Also, I therefore then wasn't able to use my intuition properly. I was always looking for external validation and advice from YouTube gurus like Elliot Hulse, Andrew Tate, all sorts of, you guys know the type, Wes Watson, all these like alpha male type dudes. I was looking at those guys on YouTube to tell me what my life purpose should be. Now think about how crazy that is, dude. And then, of course, I feel depressed and burnt out when I build and design a life that's not even mine because I don't even know who I am. I'm not even giving myself space to feel my own emotions. And it's been so crazy because reconnecting with my body and my emotions, and I now am starting to treat my own feelings and my body as if it's a fucking temple, dude. Like it comes before anything responsibly, of course, right? I will compartmentalize if needed, but I'll be freaking darned, dude, if I go to bed at night without processing and taking time to feel my emotions and be there for myself. Because you guys see it all over the internet. At the end of the day, the only person that's going to be there for you is yourself, dude. Is yourself. And that includes feeling your own emotions, brother. Because once you start feeling all your emotions, get back in tune with your intuition, then magical shit happens, dude, because you automatically know which direction to go in your life. So, hope this helped you guys. Love you, dudes and girls, if you're watching. I'm out. See you in the next one.